Okay, so it's 10 after 1. I think that's even earlier than yesterday, but I woke myself up, so I feel fine. I mean, I've been awake since like 11:45, I think. And it's like when I first woke up, I mean, I always know, like, oh, once I show signs of life, it's like all eyes are open and watching. And so I'll lay there and kind of go through my body, like, think about if I'm tired or like I'll just process kind of. And so then I was like, man, I'm just too uncomfortable. I can't get comfortable. I'm just gonna have to get up, maybe smoke, get up and do the fire. And so I got up and then, yeah, that was a party time. Still was right away. Let's eat. It's like, God, she is an eating machine, man. I'm not kidding you. Fuck, dude. And these two, they don't want her to have anything they don't have. It's all got to be equal stuff. And I swear to God, they notice the size too, because everything she gets is way bigger. And then I'll give them like a cookie or whatever, you can break it apart. And it's a big mouthful for them. And so it's nothing to her. She swallows this shit whole. And so anyways, I feel much better. And it's funny too, is so the other night, when I had my meltdown, and I think it was at that the one I think it had to do with when Max was not getting out of Stella's bed and just throwing himself back in the bed and stuff. And I was so frustrated at that point. Stella's giving me attitude, going out, just staying outside in the rain and stuff. Oh God, I was so irritated. And because she did that the next night, she did it the night before, and then the next night, only she didn't go out and then come right back in and go right back out. She just went out and she just keeps going out, just wanders around. I don't know what the hell she's doing out there. And I'm sure she's just sniffing and checking the perimeter. She's just got to see what's up. And so whatever in my meltdown that I was having, and I'm lecturing them, and I told them, I don't see why you two just don't go sleep in this chair together. I don't know why you gotta come and try and climb on me. And so there was a whole thing. But so last night, like Archie listens so well. Like he's very smart. And so when I was gonna lay down, I don't know, they both come over there and want to get on me, and I was just like, I got the whole thing to myself last night. That was another thing that helped me sleep better. And but when I got up, they were both in the chair. There's these other beds sitting here, but no, they were both in the chair, all cuddled up. And I was like, that is the cutest thing. See, that's what I told them the other night. I said, why don't you just both sleep in the chair, all cuddled up? And then they did. So, anyways, I thought that was super cute. But see, they listen. And I was thinking, for all the times like when we went on our walks and I would just be like, I would get so frustrated. They're spinning around me, going and crossing over and stuff like that. And but I was consistent. I didn't give up. I just kept going and going and going and going. And no matter, if I was having a hard time, I wasn't, trying to hide it or something. It's not like, big deal if you're but there would be people that would be judging you, there's constant, like that is what we are dealing with in this world, is like noticing how judgmental we are on each other. But so anyways, I had definitely lots of, I wouldn't say meltdowns, but mini meltdowns, and getting mad, and we're going back and you guys aren't listening and stuff like that. Pay attention and all this kind of stuff. And now it is so much different. Now the consistency, and I don't know. It seems like they listen when they see like I'm emotional about something, that they really like listen to me. And so anyways, I don't know. That's how it seems to go over here in my in my neck of the woods. So there was a bunch of stuff. Uh, so I see. So I'm just gonna start with the tooth thing, because I just like was having an epiphany in there on the tooth thing. And so I don't know. This is just, I'm not saying this is fact. I don't know if it's fact or not fact. But all of a sudden, I just like, it was like an epiphany. Like I just realized this. So, okay, let's look at it first and see. I think it is so much improved all the time. Like every day, it gets better and better. It's definitely not getting worse. And hold on, I am so full of the fog. The fog came in. As usual, fucking fog bullshit. And Max is like, no, he's not doing it. And he wants to stay out in the morning, and he's out there, and he won't come in some of the times. He just, I don't know what he does. I don't, like, sometimes I can't see where they are or what the hell are they doing. They just standing at this fence staring at something. I don't fucking know. So, or just sniffing and looking for cats because they have to, because there's so many squirrels and birds that it lures the cats. And so it's a game with the dogs because Bert will sneak in. Even yesterday, I saw Bert sneaking in the yard and all the dogs were in here. And I was like, oh, there's Bert. He's sneaking in. They all run to the door. I open the door. They go charging out. Archie is always the fastest. That little motherfucker can fly, dude. And he is so like, it's so funny because people automatically assume Stella's big, aggressive dog or something. But the big, giant, gentle giant dogs aren't aggressive like that, but they're scary. So they corner people but they're not like Archie. I'd watch my ass. Like I was like the two of them together. Like Stella would have him cornered. Archie'd be taking bites. Like Archie is a wild man, dude. And so he goes charging down there as fast as all three go running as fast as they can, chasing Bert. Bert goes sliding out of the yard. It's funny. It's funny. It's a fun little game that they play. So anyways, back on the tooth. So it appears like it is improving all the time. I still got this breath thing. It's just like that. It's just like too heavy. It's like something I don't know. It's too heavy. I can't get enough air to talk it, like I don't know. So anyways, the tooth thing. So if you look at it, like look at the black part is getting so much smaller, but then see around the black part how it's starting to get like that orange appearance again. So this was my epiphany, was because so when it first broke off, there was all of that orange part, which I saw it as kind of like the inner tooth fiber, that kind of like the connective tissue. And so as it started growing back, that started healing over that part. And then this is the deepest part. And so it's like it's as this deeper part is healing, it's like growing through those different stages, just like the hair stages changing color. And so when it's going through those different stages, then I'm seeing this orange again, right? And so what I was thinking was like how I was saying like about our teeth color. And, you know, like if you ever had fillings and stuff and they pull out the little thing and try and match your tone of your teeth or whatever. And there's all these ranges of like tan in the teeth thing. It's not like they're white, you know, they're always ranges of tan. And so, and they always make a big thing about the color of your teeth. And I was a tea drinker, and drinking tea, what I had found out, goes into your dentin and then it comes out. So it goes into your teeth and then it comes out in the color. And it's like coffee stains are on the outside, but tea is a part of, like, it grows inside. But see, tea's really got a lot of stuff that's really good for you. So then it's like, and that's a natural thing. So, so anyways, that's a sidebar. But I was thinking, so if this orange tissue stuff is what is the filler or what makes our teeth strong, then it would seem that that would shine through our teeth and it would make them seem like different tones of tan or whatever. And so I was thinking, and isn't that interesting? If that would be our most healthiest teeth, would be like these tan tones, and then they try and sell us on this visual of white teeth. Like you have sparkling white teeth. You got these, like I have seen people look so fucking weird with this white teeth thing. Like, like it just doesn't look right. It looks fucking weird. It's like you don't really notice a lot of people's. I mean, it depends. Like some people are really hyper alert to people's teeth, and they'll notice everything, and they can be cringe over every little thing, or they can just, it's all different attitudes and all different things and all different people. So it's not like something where you're like, you got to try and please. Like there's not one person to please that's gonna fix it. Everybody has a different way of looking at it. So but not everybody is always looking at everybody's teeth. And like I could talk to of all the people who I even think of in the neighborhood who I've talked to, I could not tell you if their teeth are crooked or if their teeth are super white or just regular color or whatever. It's not like I'm like, noticing everybody's teeth. But I definitely have noticed like people who, start talking and then they've got these big white ones in it. Maybe because they're on TV or something. I don't know. But I definitely, those stand out as looking strange to me. It doesn't look right. And and just think of like the color, the palette. Like you have a tone, like a palette. And this is something I noticed when I was a kid that I thought was so interesting. Because you have a color palette, like all your tones, your eye tone, your hair tone, all of your tones go together. And it creates this appearance of you, but they go together. And that's why I was talking about before when people change their hair tone and stuff like that, that it will make something look off because it's not in their palette range. And so they change it, but it comes from, I mean, that's a whole other thing because everything has got more complexity. So so anyways, that's just my thing about when colors are off. And, maybe that's like the artist side of me or whatever. But we all have different things we notice. And that is something that I had just noticed when I was a kid was like my own color scheme. And I don't remember all the thoughts I had about it. But anyways, it was something I thought about. Just like there was a whole lot of things that I thought about as a kid that where I was aware of this being a container, let's just say, because that's what the other beings that aren't, that's how they look at it. Because it's weird, as most people think that they're the container, but they are the energy inside the container. And so so anyways, I always had that awareness. I always had the awareness that I was something inside of something. And so I was always like noticing the something I was inside of and trying to understand it and how it worked and stuff. And so anyways, so on the teeth thing, then I was thinking that, so if this orange stuff is what we need, it makes our teeth stronger and it gives us the tone in our teeth. And it maybe it is like some of the darker teeth. And I'm not talking about just ones that are stained up, but some of those teeth, maybe they're the stronger teeth. And they're trying to get us to get into this like, it looks better if you bleach your teeth. They shouldn't look that color or something. But this is the part where it's like, where do dentists start thinking for themselves? Like, because I know 100%. If I went in there today and I said, oh, my tooth's healing, I just wanted to say I'm not going to get it done, but I'll show you it's healing, so they would be like, oh no, you got to do that. They would try and convince me, and they would put so much pressure on me. And I know, because I've been through, like, I've spent a lot of time in a dentist's office for my lifetime. I know how it fucking goes. And they would 100% start saying that I need to do that. They wouldn't at all go like, wow, would you mind coming back? We want to watch the progress of this. I'd like to start telling my patients about this. I'd like to really try and understand how is this working. Like, no. They would be like, yeah, right away. No, that's not right. You got to go in and we got to drill all that out. they would try and convince me that that was going to cause the infection, which to me, I think my body was pushing something out that was causing a problem. So and now it's healing itself. So anyways, I was just, what I was thinking was, yeah, that's how they sell us on this beauty standard. And really, it is something that interferes with our health and it makes our teeth deteriorate, pulling all of this out of our teeth. And it isn't just in that way. There's got to be other things that that do this stuff, because it's just so crazy that in a country that's supposed to be so progressive, civilized, and all that stuff, that we all that people are all having to wear dentures and stuff. Like, it doesn't make any sense, especially when you see that there are tribes out in, when they go out into these villages where these people have never had any dental, no medical, nothing, and they've got all their teeth. It's just like, so, and what I had understood too has to do with the different stuff in their plants and stuff. And I think like you can look it up about the tribes and teeth, chew on things and stuff to make them clean. Like, I don't know, like if we just chewed on mint leaves or something. I don't know, mint leaves would do it, but mint is what they put in the toothpaste. So then it makes you think, well, maybe just chewing on mint leaves, but I don't know what all stuff. I just think that we need to look at everything so much different than what we've been taught. Like, we gotta look at it like they wanted us to have really pearly whites, but I think we need to have like strong, dark teeth. Like, I don't know. And it's not just because I'm trying to make excuses that my teeth are getting darker. And I don't know. I feel like I don't know that they're really getting a lot darker. It seems like to me that they were always kind of just like this color, like when they pull out the little teeth thing. I always wanted mine to be up closer to the lighter side, because that's back especially in the period where I wanted to bleach my teeth. It's like, God, I don't want it to be dark. God dang. But I think mine were like fine in the middle, maybe up a little bit like that, because there's lots of teeth that get really, really dark. And even right here, but see, that can be stains because the teeth like that cross over or whatever. I don't know. I didn't, like, even the other day when they, will you want to do your whole appointment? You haven't been here since 2021. And I didn't get my teeth clean. I didn't want any of the stuff. I just didn't want to messing around with it and digging in my teeth and all that stuff. It's just like, I don't think that that is what we're supposed to be doing. I think that it is, that they get us set up on so much of the stuff that interferes with our health. And even it's coming out so much about like mammogram, all these different things, biopsies, all those things are causing the problem that they're looking for, and that they seem to have known this for a long time. So obviously they were doing it because they were trying to cause the problem from whatever they're doing. And then how the insurance even works together with it, because the insurance will pay for you to go in and find out, make sure you don't have any of this stuff ahead of time. You go do all this stuff to make sure you don't get sick ahead of time. All that is such a fucking scheming. Everything is so much scheming that now with the Tyra Banks thing coming out, that had me really thinking, because I was seeing, I just heard about hers, and seeing the people react, especially people from her own community, there's people who became successful that other people out of their community were really riding on their coattails, like really supporting them, excited because they are, from the same place or the same kind of culture or whatever. And so, she had a lot of people who support her who are being very disappointed. People who are finding out, like she was at the Diddy parties and stuff. And the more that the one girl, what's her name, talks about with the, because I hear videos where people are putting it all together, like the kids that you guys are tying down eating dip off of, these are kids that are being stolen from the foster The CPS, that whole system is just there to steal kids and put them into the system. And people are catching on to it. And there was a footage the other day of them trying to take one in the hospital. And I don't know what the outcome has been because I don't know where it's even at locally. But the CPS, the cops, and everything show up in this hospital room. The baby's like a day old. And I don't know if they're like not letting the lady leave. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what the charges are or anything. And her husband or her boyfriend, the dad, is there, the baby's dad. And so I don't know what the couple situation is or whatever. And so you got the CPS guy and the cops. They're all rigged up, man. And the CPS guy, he doesn't have the proper paperwork. And so he is trying to take the baby. He doesn't care if he doesn't have the proper paperwork. And the cops are on the who cares side. And the dad is like, fuck you guys. And you guys are not taking my baby. And you like all this whole thing. And I don't know, what the outcome is. But that is, all these things are going to keep going. And people have to stand up. Like, we have to keep standing up and keep standing up no matter how the things play out. But it is the turning of the tide, the more that everybody stands up. So I don't know how that one went. Hopefully they got, like, because, like, at the hospital, they'll lock the hospitals down. They'll start charging the people for taking their own baby and kidnapping and shit. Like, it's fucking, our system is so fucking fucked. But, and guess what color the people were? Just take a wild guess. It's just like, they have stolen so, oh my God, like, it's so crazy because even when all this stuff is coming out about the prisons and stuff like that, and all these graves, all these people being sent home with missing organs and shit like that, there's that community was well aware of the harvest situation and that they were taking people's parts and stuff like that. They knew. Like, this is like, for some of us, this is just like learning it, just finding out. And just think of the frustration and the fear and stuff. There's no wonder, like, these people like had CPS after them, cops after them. I mean, there was firemen back, 20, 30 years ago, were supposed to just let them burn. It's like, God damn, man, these people have been out to kill all of these different tribes. And what was this one? This one was a girl, a video I saw of this girl, and she was, I'm not sure, like, as you look at her and you could kind of think, like, she looks kind of oriental, but she looks kind of indigenous, but she looks kind of black, but she look like, all these are just different tribes. And then there are certain people who are such a mix of all these different ones that really, to me, represent like a certain, like, they like a, yeah, it is kind of like a generic kind of a feature of just like a human or something. It's not, maybe that is like the goal of what they're trying to do, because there is so many different beings here. And like they had used like 14 different beings or something, DNA, to create, well, who knows, because there's so much more coming out on the orphan trains and the Cabbage Patch Kids and the incubator kids, the state fair, the reset, the cities burning down, all that stuff. And that there wasn't a bunch of parents, there was lots of these kids. And then that, but that's how they started changing history and stuff, was at this time where they start cutting out this whole past of history, because so they killed off a whole bunch of people. Maybe it was like it was Spanish flu or something. I'm not sure. Probably the fraudster was probably back there doing it, little fucking twerp. And so, who knows? But whatever went down, they did something and it changed. But they've had so many of these different kinds of, like, they've been in control of this habitat to such a deeper depth than what we understand. I mean, to the point that they can lie to us about the map, like, lie to us about goddamn being on a globe. Like, there's so much shit that is just so ridiculous. Like, they went too far. They just went too far with their lies, you know. And it was all going to come out. Oh, that's funny too. Yeah, that lady talking about the lying will kill you. Maybe that's why they have to body swap so much. They need a new one and a new one. Oh, you know who's really looking raggedy? Is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, and his fans were saying, like, in like 2 months, he aged like 200 years. I don't know. Maybe it's for a part or something. But when he comes walking out of the place, he is like walking like, fuck. He seems sickly. And so many of these people start getting so old and sickly so fast, which that to me seems like, I don't know, kind of like you can tell who's been on the juice, who's been on it and who's coming off or something, you know, because there's a huge drop in their how they look. They just all of a sudden, it's like they look ancient. And it's like the aging doesn't go like that extreme. It's not that dramatic unless you're really sickly. So I don't know. They all are looking. There's a lot of them that are looking really sickly. But anyways, back on that Tyra Banks thing, I was thinking because so she's got all these people, you know, who are really butthurt and angry and stuff. There was a lot of kickback on her too after the Victoria's Secret fashion angel show or whatever that big performance is, because she came and walked the stage and she's older and she wasn't in shape, and she was on a show called America's Next Top Model or something, and she was so mean to all the girls and so harsh. I just saw a girl being interviewed and they told her that she needed to cut her hair, and so they were like, I don't know, these producers and shit on these shows lie to these people. But so she was sure she was going to win if she let them cut her hair. And they cut her hair off, and then they said, okay, now you're going home. And so Tyra cut her hair. It's like, that's pretty fucked up, man. That's rude. Like that, some of these people do such rude, hateful things. But, you know, when you think about some of these older models and stuff, this is still going on. So there's models now who are doing these jobs like the Tyra and Naomi Campbell. And I was thinking Heidi Klum. This is the one that had me going this morning, because I was thinking about, because I grew up at the time of the supermodels. The supermodels were running the show. I mean, and all the girls that wanted to be the supermodels. They were on everything. Every magazine cover. It was not ever actresses and stuff. It was the supermodels. And the supermodels got all the rock stars. They're going out with all the rock stars. They're like, whatever young girl wants to be is like, I just want to grow up and be a supermodel, man. She's got the life. And so they were like the idols. Like, we were idolizing these supermodels. And so I was thinking about them today, because Tyra Banks was back in the supermodel day. And I was thinking about, she was kind of more on the edge of it, though, because there was some that were before her, like Kim Alexis, I think even Daryl Hall and her sister. I just saw another one in a movie the other day. She was in like a Lifetime movie. I can't think of what her name is. Somebody was Amy or something. What's her name? She's still out there everywhere. Oh, I bet you. Who knows though? Because maybe she started having relationships and being married and not going to parties and stuff at a young age. But I swear to God, she was like, I think, I mean, she's very into plastic surgery. She's really into being out there and stuff. What is her name? I can't think of it. Christy Brinkley? Yeah, Christy Brinkley, I think. Cindy Crawford, she was a supermodel. So anyways, I was back during there. Naomi Campbell was one. Who was the one who ended up with David Bowie? It was like all these ones like were ending up with all these rock stars and stuff. And so it was all during this certain period of time. And so at that point, so they had to be, you know, the lure. So to bring all these girls, like, I don't know if it was just in America, but all these girls that start going to want to be models and going to film modeling agencies and stuff, and how it's all been just a lure. And the ones that they will get and take are ones that I think are more untraceable, more, it depends on your family situation. And, but so I was thinking, okay, so they are still luring them all over the place. And there's some of these models, like, I mean, like the Kardashians, they're all fucking lures. And I don't know about this Hadid, all their friends, all these people that suddenly became the models out of the blue. And they were always like from these rich families or something. And yeah, that's weird. It's like Nicole Kidman's trying to get her daughter in there too. Yeah, so they all are, became these models, and like the newer models, but it's all this lure. And so on the Heidi Klum thing, I was thinking, oh my gosh, so they put these people on these shows, these judge shows or whatever. Like the actors, like, oh look, they get a part, they get a stage, they get a platform, they get to be on here and I don't know, talk, whatever the fucking thing is. And so, but the lure of the show and bringing in all those people, because I, what was the one, The Voice, would show a lot of that with the background. And I don't know if they did on some of these other ones, but I watched The Voice for a while, and then they would sit. But I don't like those competitions. I just am not into the competition thing. And so anyways, it would show these rooms, like these giant rooms, like when the people go, like when there's gonna be like America's whatever this show is, the Heidi Klum is on, Howie Mandel, Simon Cowell, I think, I don't know, it seems like the other girl, oh, who is it, Sophia Vergara, whatever, that girl I think is one right now. Anyway, but they have them in other countries too, of other judges and stuff, but they change out that judge sometimes, because I think it was a Spice Girl or something. I don't know before, but I think now it's that Sophia Vergara or whatever it is. So she, but the lines, oh my God. So when people find out, like, oh, you know, what is it called? Not America's Top Model, America's Most Talented Person or something like that, is going to be in town. All these people come, and so it is lines and lines and lines. Like the parts that they show the judges doing is small. I think they showed this on this show too. The one that I'm talking about with Heidi Klum is because I used to watch that show too, and I think that they'd show that, and they'd show all the lines and stuff, and there would be tons and tons of people. And so they don't show all of the different people, but the judges supposedly have to sit there through all these people. And I don't know if that's true or not. It could be other people out there judging, not just the show people from the show. It could be other judges that are making the decisions, producers or whatever. And so the people are these huge crowds of people, and you have these certain parents, these super social climber parents, who are desperate to get their kids in something. There's people who are like, there's a lot of desperation out there in these certain things. And so, but where do you think all of these predators would be? And what jobs do you think they are? Agents, managers. So then you go and you go to these cattle call things. Because I was thinking, this is something I was thinking even with the kid movies. Because they're always getting these movies with little kids in them. And I don't know. I was noticing, because I watch all these old movies and stuff, and it is like there isn't tons and tons of kids in the movies, in the older movies. Like there isn't. I don't even know when it was. Maybe it was around Little Rascals time or something, which what was, is it the old Alfalfa? I know one of the Alfalfas. It might have been off of the movie remake or something. I don't know if it was the old Alfalfa, the original, talking about the abuse that went on. We know Shirley Temple, but Shirley Temple supposedly she was able to stay safe, but she had a lot of them all, like. So I don't know. I mean the pervs were back there back then for sure, but it seems like that happened again. Hold on. God, it's like go. I swear to God, it felt like something kicked me from the inside in my chest up here, and now ash flew out. Gotta stomp it out. Hold on. Oh my God, that hurt. Okay, so, but when they started realizing that they could have these cattle call things and get all these kids to come, because even when they talked about, what was that, Harry Potter, and when they put it out there that they were going to cast somebody new, and who knows how often they put this out, and how many parents have really cute kids that watch these things. I don't know where you would look for them. Vanity Fair or something, I'm not sure. But the people who are into that would know. So they watch for these opportunities for their kids to go be in films and get discovered. And so they go to all these different things. And then as a big part of how these managers and stuff, and then how they shuffle them around to directors and producers and stuff. So it has so much to do with getting access to some of them, because you can access those ones, and the ones that are desperate for something, then they'll do things. And then also there's a lot of grooming going on. Like there's certain family dynamics that they know that they can get away with stuff more in other family dynamics. They also can figure out which moms that they can manipulate. Because some of the moms, all they got to do is keep telling the mom, like, how great she is, how beautiful she is. They want to look for parts for her, probably. And she's all hook, line, sinker, and not paying that much attention as they're over there diddling the kids. So and then there's so much manipulation in the narrative, what they tell, what they say to the kids and stuff. There's like a lot of pressure or something. But so when they started doing all of that and having kids be in movies, then you get all these kids coming, and all access. Say you have them all there, eager, and you pick and choose. And so, man, some of them where people think like, oh, well, he got noticed and this manager wants to see him and he got an agent and stuff like that. Like, I think that it was a lot more dangerous than what people realize. And some people may not even know. Some people may feel like they just get shame from it and it didn't go the way they thought or whatever, and they don't tell anybody. I mean, some, like, the whole situation with Heather O'Rourke, like, fuck. Just if you look deep into that one, it's just so fucking sad. And it wasn't even like the mom was like a big social climber. The mom just didn't have any boundaries. And it's like that's the dynamics kind of that they're looking for too, is ones that they can just walk all over. Because it's like, I think Heather O'Rourke's mom was like a waitress or something in a restaurant, and Steven Spielberg were in there, and she had her kid in there. And Steven Spielberg saw her and was like, hell yeah, I want a little of that action. Fucking weirdo. Tom Hanks, too. He's fucking weird motherfuckers. Like, how do you look at like a little kid like that? I just don't get it, man. So and yeah, man, they were stacking up, man. They were lining up. It was a queue for fucking Heather O'Rourke. Those fucking weirdos. And I mean, she was adorable, adorable kid, but Jesus Christ. And so, anyways, I was thinking that is the allure of these shows, man. America's Next Top Model, the one with Tyra Banks doing it. Like, how many girls do they get that didn't even make the show? Just show up to these cattle calls, and then they get discovered, and really, they get, moved. I forgot about that. Yes, because there was a movie on the other day. It had Lauren Holly. Pretty sure it was Lauren Holly. Is the name, like, sometimes I'll say the names, it's like, is that the right name? But it was newer movie. It's like she's older. It wasn't like Picket Fence's time. It was more current. I don't know how current, because I think she's been in CSI. It was like a Lifetime movie. And she's supposed to be this real rich lady who is just, she's so obnoxious. And just that kind of person. And she gets, because of her obnoxiousness, like, it's a whole storyline that gets her into this seedy motel, and the people next door are making so much noise that she's going to tell them a thing or two. And so she gets nabbed. And when she gets nabbed, it's so funny too, because even when the nabbers are talking, they're like, well, she's old. That is what had happened, I said, at that gas station that day. It was so, I just feel certain that's what they were doing at that gas station. Because when I went to the gas station, and I think I went for the price of the gas, and it was in Yakima, and which is a very Hispanic area, which is a lot of those kids get taken. And a lot of kids everywhere get taken, but like they definitely, like, every time when I have been there and I see white vans out driving in the middle of nowhere, I'm always like, oh, traffic. And so anyways, and I would see that a lot around there. And that is also where there is, what do they call it? Migrant workers. Then they have the cover of, oh, that's just the migrant workers. They just are moving, they're just traveling. They're taking them from one farm to another and stuff. I'm like, yeah, right. So anyways, at that gas station, so I pull up and there was a car blocking, so I couldn't keep going forward. The car was blocking right there. And I already had this awareness, but I'm thinking like, well, I'm older. I mean, I'm not the target audience that they're after in these nabbings. But from a distance, I have long hair and I'm smaller. I'm not, I mean, by appearance, you wouldn't automatically think like, oh, she's older. And then I've got a lot of tattoos. And so I'm standing there getting my gas and blocked in. And this other, was like a white van or something, pulls in. I remember it was white and had two guys in it. And they pull in real quick up next to me. And that was all there was this one pump. And it was like on a corner. I was like very put in there. And when they pulled up, it was like they started looking, they looked at each other and they started laughing, and then they were like, she's old. And I was thinking, did I hear that right? Like, and I was like, I think I did. But when I just saw it in that movie, it was like, I knew I had heard that, and when that happened to me. But so anyways, that is what they did to her too. So she's old. And but they had a whole shit ton of girls. And all the girls, though, were going along with the thing because they thought they were going on to a reality show for models. And so that was the lure. I forgot about that. But that was the lure, to get all these girls to go peacefully. And they were really going to be shipped off to other countries where they were going to be trapped. And that is what they do from a lot of people from other countries, is bring them here and drop them. But they do the same thing to us. Like when people are being nabbed from here, I think then they're being shuttled over somewhere else across the seas, you know. And there's a lot of perversion and stuff over in Japan and stuff. There's a lot of perversion everywhere, but there's a lot over there, and that is in China or something, and that is a big part of like the, you know, the laptop thing, you know, the hunter thing that is on there. Is This was something like back in 2020 or 2021, the so many of these things you gotta watch out what you say. So I'm gonna say it backwards, but it's 3 letters, and so it would be the other way normally, but it's got a P, a C, and a C. But if you turn it, so that organization in China, that they somebody, a whistleblower, came out, and he was exposing all this stuff, and that they had told, there was something that our people had to do, like Joe and them had to do, in order to make them not spill what they have, because they did the same thing as what the islands was going on in the islands. They were doing the same thing. So they would lure our officials over there. You know how our officials are always going, well, we're going to go to China and talk to them. You know, it's really important. And so they lure them over there. I don't know, give them some sake that's got some extra in it. And then they wake up, you know, entangled with some really horrible shit. And, but the individual, the whistleblower guy, was talking about the depravity, and there were certain ones that were, you know, you didn't have to give them any special sauce. They just were into it, and super, super violent. And, you know, that's, you know, there one guy who I'm talking about that's documented it because he liked to relive it or something. And, yeah, that just grossed me out, because all of a sudden I just was like, because a lot of times I think about all these people with their kids and stuff. And so you think about these different kinds of parents and stuff. Well, think about who would sell their kids off to the Obamas. Like, you know, here, you guys can pretend like these are your kids. And so there's been a lot of weird shit, of course, now with the older daughter, especially because she's on the laptop thing, and she just changed her name. Like, it's obviously not their kid, and like all that stuff will be shown and exposed and stuff. But you know, this is like the social climber parents I'm talking about. Like, they're not there to protect their kid. Here's like, here, yeah, take my kid, and obviously it doesn't do well for him. I mean, she's like doing lines or something naked with him, and so I don't know, all these kids sleeping together or whatever, like, are all like got these damage, these perversions and stuff that have been done to them, and they kind of all gather together. Because like I was thinking, even with Heidi Klum, I was thinking like she's got like 5 fucking kids or something, and you're gonna be luring other people's kids into these traps like that, because you're not that stupid. You're not that stupid. You would have to fucking know. And so, especially like on something like that, where it's over and over and over. I mean, that's all they do is travel around and go to different cities, lure these people in, and put on a show, and then go to the next one. And so, you would have to catch on at some point. Like, there's some shady characters out there talking to these kids, and these kids are getting, you know, thinking they're seeing the bright lights of fame and fortune. Their parents, especially, you know, somebody is giving them attention, but those people are predators, and they know how to sit and watch a crowd. They know who to pick and choose. And so, anyways, I think that a lot of that stuff is a lure. And I just all of a sudden could just see it like clearly this morning. But I forgot, yeah, because in that movie it was that they were luring them to be on a show. And I don't know if it was like America's Next Top Model, because I wasn't paying that much attention. But it was definitely, the girls kept saying that, because at first they were like, you just want to win the show. You're just trying to do that, because the Lauren Holly character, she's telling them, we got to get away. They're nabbers and they're going to kill us and stuff, because she had already been died down and gagged and everything else. And these girls are all just sitting around, well, they're not eating or anything because they're models. So they are they're just sitting there waiting to become famous or marry a rock star or whatever. So anyways, but it's all a lure. And they think that they're going to some specific place. And I was thinking about, like, this just came into my mind of like MTV and all of those shows that they did. Remember, I kind of just started a whole fucking, it was like a trend of these shows where have these people go and live at these other places, like Big Brother. There was a whole bunch of these shows on MTV, because my kid, when MTV was a thing, I had teenagers. And so, when they come home from school, they'd be putting that on, and I would hear those shows or see them or something. And I can't even remember all the names of them, but they were really into them. And but they've got all of the dating ones, all of those, how it just became like that. But just thinking about all the people that they lure into trying out, who want to be famous, who easily sign on to contracts and stuff, and then what they end up getting shuffled out to some other country, nobody knows, and nobody, because they know how to pick and choose ones. We're not going to pick ones that where the family's going to make a big ruckus. They're going to. So, anyways, and some of these are, pretty girls that don't really have anybody. They're breaking away. And, there's tons and tons of pretty girls that were sexually assaulted and molested and all that stuff from the time that, they became pretty to somebody like, Heather O'Rourke or whatever. As soon as these pervs look at you like, ooh, I like a little of that action, then, they're being damaged. And so that is, that's a lure right there. Let's pull in those damaged pretty girls. Somebody's already taken their way with them, so they're easy prey because they don't have boundaries. They don't know how to take care of themselves. What I was thinking too is that's the thing where all these people all want to be like, oh, the narcissist, the narcissist, the narcissist. And I was thinking, who's a safe space for a narcissist is somebody with no boundaries. The whole thing has to have to do with people have to have boundaries. And you got to be able to stand up for yourself and stand up for what it is, or it is that you think or whatever. Because I was thinking, even where people, it's like, what had me thinking about it? I was thinking about like old friends or whatever, old boyfriends, old husbands, whatever. And I was thinking about people from your past before you have healed. And I was thinking, man, there's like, those people would not want anything to do with me anymore. Like, they would be weeded out real quick out of our connection because of the fact that I have boundaries now, and it would not be comfortable to them. And it was one thing to try and have a relationship with me when I had no boundaries. And then you were setting the tone, and I just was going along, and I was like noticing in the past and stuff, and how it kind of develops into that, because it doesn't just start out with that. And when you read the book, I thought that the book, the gaslighting book, I think it's just called Gaslighting, and I think it is like a teal kind of cover. But that book I thought was so good, and it does so well of showing you of like that there's a difference. There's a difference of how you behave when you have boundaries and how you behave when you don't have boundaries. And then when there's people who are pushy or whatever, they rely on the people who don't have boundaries. And so when they're going out into the world and they are being their behavior, then when people come back at them with boundaries, that's uncomfortable for them. So they just move on to another spot to look for something that's more comfortable until they edge up against somebody who has no boundaries, because then they can push and push and push. And this person just, wants to please other people, doesn't want to make waves, doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, whatever the motivation is that keeps them in this position of being the weaker link, the one that's being the doormat position. And so but the more that you develop your boundaries, then those people, when they would come back around you and they would try and have the similar interaction, they wouldn't get the same feedback. So they would be uncomfortable. So the relationship, it would not be able to go anywhere. There would be nothing to build on, because it was built off of a toxic structure. It was built off of, moldy wood. And so it wasn't a really good, solid relationship. And so anyways, I was thinking it's just as weird, is because of how many people like who would have known me before I healed, especially when I've been so long in isolation. And it's like coming out of isolation, it's like, she's not the same. She's not the same. She's like, there would definitely be, I think, kind of a shock to some people who would be around me, and then they would try and push me in a certain way, and they would not get back what they were expecting, because they would think like, oh, you could say that, she's not going to say anything, and be like, no, you're going to get a very different person, I think, now than I was then. And I was thinking about, because I would not be a safe space for a narcissist anymore. I wouldn't. I would be, call somebody out. I would definitely be real and be honest and stuff. I would not. I just would have very different looking feelings about the whole thing. Even on hurting somebody's feelings, it's not like I'm trying to be spiteful or mean. So if I'm going to stand up for myself and that hurts your feelings, then I don't care. Like, that's your feelings are overstepping into mine if you've got issues. But I just think that there's so many people that have such a reaction to narcissists. It's like, oh, narcissists, they're like the devils, and keep away from the narcissists. It's like, but the narcissist won't have anything to do with you if you have boundaries. So it's like it comes back on you. You can't just say like the narcissist is the problem. It's you who has the encounter with the narcissist, who doesn't have enough boundaries to stand up to them, that then you feel pushed, or you feel disregarded or something. And so then that creates this tension, and then you blame them. But really, it's you. That is what you need to be seeing, is what you can do to improve your relationships. And having boundaries is super important. So important. And I think that it just shows so much. I think it's being so reflected in our society right now as it's healing. One thing, too, that I have noticed is yesterday when I went on there's so much about last year on the Secret Santa thing, that there was all these people who would go and get all this cool shit and go do the Secret Santa at their work job thing, and then they would get back something really shitty. There's all sorts of weird stories. Like, I just heard one that was supposed to be recent. Some people are making up stories, but this girl, it seems legit, is so she was at her work party, and for some reason somebody got a PS5. I think the limit was $50, so I don't know, how they got it or whatever. But so they had this PS5 that was going around, and the owner of the company, or this manager or something, one of the bosses, got it. And you're allowed to steal something 3 times or something. And so nobody was stealing it. Once this boss guy had stolen it from somebody, then everybody was just leaving it. Nobody's taking it. Gets to be her turn, and she's like, nope, I'm taking it. And she wanted to take it to sell. She didn't want to take it for her kids or anything. She wanted the money. And, oh yeah, there's this whole weird thing with this CEO in New York with his work. Oh, it's kind of funny too. So anyways, she steals it from him. And so she's happy, she got the thing that she wanted. And then at the end of the day, she was called and told that not to return. She just got fired, like she's out. And so she was doing a video talking about that. And it was like, oh my gosh, that is crazy. Let me think if I could think of the other one that was just coming to my own mind. But there's this other, oh yeah, because the CEO, because there's another, they're making such a fucking drama too over this, this guy. Like, they have got like a whole army bringing him in, and it's just all this drama, and there's so much stuff going. Even something about his name and what it means in this other language. It means like Robin Hood or something. Like, I'm telling you, this is all a fucking show, and it's pretty fucking funny. And so however it's going to play out, and it's definitely to play out to show more corruption. And what did I say just a couple weeks ago? I said Joe was going to be hitting it hard on the money thing, and he's hitting it hard on the money thing. He's just giving it away. And so it's going to, it's got to be a part of the crash of the money. And Canada started crashing yesterday. Theirs went down to, the last I saw it was at like 68 cents or something, their coin thing. And the people were like, oh my God, it's dropping fast. It's so, but it's going to be the same thing here. It's all these monies, all their fake ass money is going to drop like that. And so it's happening in Canada, thank God. So anyways, there's this other CEO in New York, and he had some business. I don't even know what the fuck his business was, but he told all of his employees that he wasn't doing bonuses this year. I was just like, no, we just can't do it. And so then apparently the next day he shows up in a brand new Lamborghini, and the people were pissed. So all the people went out during the day. They made a whole thing with the garage person. So the garage person just looked the other way. Nobody saw anything. And all the employees went out and took a crap inside this guy's Lamborghini. I threw through a sunroof or something. But so all these people went out and took a shit in this guy's brand new car. However expensive this fucking car is. Then they all walked off the job. They all fucking said, fuck you, and left. And so he was just like, he had to go get his car detailed and get it cleaned up. And now he has no employees and stuff. So then apparently he was trying to hire some people because everybody left. Everybody's pissed. And so he is trying to hire some group to come in and try and save his company or whatever. But the group who is going and doing it is a setup group to destroy these people. And they're called something. I can't even remember what they're called. This is so absurd. You'd think it's made up. It could very well be. Like, I don't know. There's so much stuff out there that is like, so he hires these people to come in and fix his company, like to do the work and to save it. I'm not even sure what his company is. And I wish I could remember the name of it, like Stockings Club or something. But anyway, so it's all these really pretty girls. So they've become a group, and they go in and they take these jobs, and then they go in as a group, and then they won't work. They just do yoga all day. So they just stand out in the place and do yoga and stuff. And they don't get any work done. And so the guys start coming and complaining and telling them they're not getting any work done. They got to do this and that. And everything that you ask them to do, they always say, I've never been trained on that. I've never been trained on that. So every single thing, I've never been trained on that. So anyways, they've walked off the job or something, or they left him high and dry, or he tried to fire him or something. But anyways, his whole shenanigans are falling apart because of greed. And I said, what goes around comes around. What you're putting out is going to come back on you. And so his greed is coming back on him, you know. You go run your own company by yourself. Go do it all by yourself. Because if you're not going to have appreciation for the people who are out there doing the work for you, then you're not going to have anybody out there doing the work for you. So there's going to be more and more of this falling apart. There's a big case going on. Like, all this stuff is so absurd. This woman, so she is arguing with her insurance company. She's arguing with them. They're trying to fuck her over, just like, because that's what they do. And so she tells them, "You're next," or something. And she does this, like, it says the denied whatever thing to him and says something about "you're next" or something like that. Just like, so she gets swarmed by the FBI and arrested and stuff. They have her in court. They're charging her. I think they're charging her with terrorism or something. I think they're doing that also with this guy. And so anyways, all this stuff is so absurd. It's so ridiculous. And but so she's getting in trouble for just making a threat, which I find extra funny, is because I did the same thing. I did the same thing to Chase Bank. But I didn't have them swarm my house, but I definitely they freaked out. So I was, it was when I lost my house after my brain injury. And so when my income dropped to a third of the amount, and like most of us, my income was pretty tight in there with all my bills. And so I had I had a timeshare, I had this swimming pool, I had this big ass house, like I had all this shit that I was paying for. You know, it was my life. It was, you know, my lifestyle. And so, and I was a workaholic, and it was work, and I'm out of control kids and a crazy ex, and like just the regular shit. My best friend ran off with my ex-husband. So all of this just regular bullshit stuff. And so I had so my income dropped by this huge amount. And so it was during this time, it was around this time for when I think it was like our first big house thing that happened, where all of a sudden they took everybody's houses from them. And at the time they were doing another one of those kinds of loan thing or something. And so you could lower your house payment. There was that whole thing. I can't remember the whole thing. And so I was trying to talk to them and do that, because now my income had dropped so much. And they refused. They said no. And they said that I could pay my house. They were going to take it. And, but I could do a short sale. And if I did a short sale, and at the time, you know, you're still thinking about your credit score. You're still thinking about, like, how do I fix this and all that stuff. So you're trying to, you know, make it work in the system. So my attitude is very different than how it has been in this one. Now I don't give a shit. I mean, it's different. And so, because, you know, all their contact and stuff, what the fuck was that? All their contact, did I throw a feather up or something? That was weird. So, so all of their stuff, let me think what it was I was going to say. Whatever it was. So they, the short sale thing. Okay. So I had said that I would do that. And so I got a realtor, and so he started trying to sell my house. And so they get to sell it for less amount or something. I don't really remember. And so he had people right away who were wanting to buy it. And he kept trying to send it into the house place, and they wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't acknowledge, they wouldn't do anything. They were just telling me I had to do this short sale, but then they wouldn't do it. And so he got frustrated. He was like, well, there's nothing I can do. Like, I had all these different offers and stuff, and he keeps trying, and they won't do anything. They're trying to fuck me over. And so, so then whatever it was at some point, And they send threats and stuff all the time. And so I was like, fuck, I gotta move. I gotta find a place to live. And so that's when I started looking for the rental place. And so that's the house I moved in that was so haunted. It was so fucking haunted. Well, I was leaving one haunting house. So I mean, the house I was leaving was so fucking haunted. I had been like in haunted houses for a while. And so yeah, because in the one after that one, it was the lady on the stairs, but the lady on the stairs was attached to me. So, I mean, I just bring ghosts around with me too. So I go into haunted houses and I bring ghosts with me. So, anyways, so the place had said that they were going to take my house, and I was like, I got to find a place to live. So I went and found this house, and I rented it, and started moving all my stuff. And so then they started telling me that I had abandoned the house, and they were going to make charges on me. It's like, you're taking my house, now you're charging me with abandoning my house. Like, what in the holy hell? And I don't even remember in all of these arguments, but at one point I was like, and every time you would call, the person who you had talked to, well, they don't work there anymore, or they changed departments. It was such a fucking runaround. It was such a fucking bullshit. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I got all involved. Like, I was going to talk to senators and shit. Like, I was like, this is some fucking bullshit, man. And then the senators don't give a fuck. And I had no idea at the time, but I was all involved in all the activism. I can't remember. Like, I was going around, I was doing all those marches and all that. It was all during Wall Street. And so I was out marching all the motherfucking time. And but on the phone, I had told the lady, because there was a bunch of people who were burning their houses down during because to try and get insurance money because their houses were being taken. And so whatever, one of these ladies I was arguing with, and that's what I said. I said, I'm about to motherfucking burn this shit down. I don't give a fuck. You guys won't get shit. Whatever it was, I was like that. And she took it as a threat. Like, it became a thing. I don't remember. Like, I didn't get charges. I didn't have them show up and take me and charge me with terrorism or something. But yeah, that was some fucking bullshit. But that was the same thing. Like, I can totally see why that woman said it. I did the same thing. I was like, I'm going to do it too. And so you just get pissed dealing with their fucking bullshit, man. But anyways, that's that fucking bullshit. But this other thing I wanted to talk about was this Christmas thing. And so this is like this huge thing blowing up right now. And it's kind of trippy because people get so stuck on their side of it. And so what I see is just a lot of different things happening. And part of it is like boundaries, and part of it is gratitude. Like, there's a lot of things happening, and a lot of different souls like looking at things in different ways, but everybody starts jumping on board and stuff. And so the angel tree too, yeah, confirmation. So the angel tree at the same time as the teachers thing. And so you have some parents who got all their teachers stuff, and then you have some parents who didn't get their teachers anything. Then you have some parents or some teachers who hate the gifts and think it's stupid that these people are constantly giving them all these stupid gifts that they can't use, and they would appreciate it if they would just stop doing that. They'd rather have a coffee gift card or something than to have, 15 coffee cups that say, I love my teacher on them, which is like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's boundaries. Like, yeah, I mean, people could also think of that as like, what do I really want to give the teacher? She probably has got 55 million cups that say, number one teacher on them. So maybe get her something that is, something different. Like, one teacher said she loves the plants. Like, that's like her favorite gift for people to bring her is plants, because then she always remembers this student who gave us plants. She's got them all in the windows growing. And I was like, yeah, that's a good one. That's pretty smart. But there was one, she had a hand painted thing. She was all upset because of how these teachers are acting. And she has this old, it was like a clipboard thing, and one of her students painted her octopus on it, and she's had it for 13 years, and she's showing like, I loved all the little gifts and stuff. So each person is different, like we're all different. And I saw one video, I still can't get over this chick. She's like, well, I'm going to show you what I got our teachers. And some of these different ones, like you see all these different ones. Like some of my favorite gifts or some of my favorite videos right now have been these people who have been doing their, the ones that are going and thrifting their Christmas, which when I started doing that, people thought it was so weird. So I'm so glad to see people doing that, because it's like, why is that weird? I think it's fucking genius. And but when I started doing it, people are like, oh, well, she got it at the thrift store. It's like, yeah, but it's fucking cool as shit. It would cost a fortune if I got it at a real store. And so, anyways, you can find some cool ass shit. But anyways, people are getting way more into that. And people are wanting way more cool ass shit than just, something off the shelf. And so anyways, those ones, but also there's a whole movement of these. God, there are some talented girls out there. Jesus Christ, some of the stuff that some of these people make for people, it's like, oh my gosh. And the sewing and stuff, like, geez, there is some really talented people. Like, that's where I'm saying some of these people, like, this will end up being like their income. Like, some of this stuff that they have put so much time and effort into becoming so good at, and then just showing this, because some of these videos I was seeing, I was like, fuck, I want to buy some of her stuff, man. And some of them have made their own tags and stuff, but they're that energy that they've been putting in and giving away, and giving their gifts away and stuff like that, that energy is going to take off. And so some of these people are really going to turn it into a really lucrative business for themselves. And and it's not where you have to sit there and sew 100 of them or something. People are going to pay for higher quality stuff and handmade stuff. It's going to have a way more better thing. Like there was a thing that switched where handmade stuff all of a sudden became, oh, it's handmade. Oh, I'll have a machine made, but it's going to switch back. It's going to tip back the other direction, where people are going to be like, oh man, somebody made this, man, with their own hands. And so people are going to be way more into that. And because the people who work in those factories and stuff, they're just, they're not sitting there putting in their time and effort and stuff. That's why we buy clothes and the seams are all jacked and stuff. So anyways, those videos where I've been seeing these girls making all their Christmas, thrifting all their Christmas, is like really, really cool. I've even seen these girls doing like these friend ones, like I'm going to go in and find her an outfit at the thrift store, and, like a dresser or something. I don't know, they call it something, like going to stage the person or whatever. And so doing that, I was like, that would be so fun too. Like, there's so much fun stuff you can do. Like, but thrift stores are also Goodwill. I mean, it's corporate owned, so it's really showing its dark side. It's taking off all of. It just keeps raising its prices and raising its prices, which is so absurd. But then you do have these people who just go out to these places and look for the hidden treasures so that they can go sell them online. And that's part of the drive why this stuff started going up for the rest of us. It's like when you go out and you find the treasure, it's supposed to be your treasure, not so you can go out and pass it on. But I did do that for a while, but not online. I did, when I very first started going to the bins, then I would just like, I would see so much cool shit. And even if I couldn't use it, I was like, somebody could use this. So I started having garage sales. I was selling stuff for super cheap, but still, like, you could make $100 over the weekend selling this cool ass shit that you found there. And at the bins, you pay by the pound. And so you could get stuff and sell it to people. It was kind of fun. I did it for a couple weekends. But anyways, let me think back where I was. So but these people, because I see these videos all the time, and they go on and they find these certain things, and they just go through and look for certain things, and then go and see the price on like eBay or something, And then they're always like, oh, look, it's $6.99. But when on here, it's worth $450. So they'll buy it and then they'll go sell it for the $450 instead of being like, fuck, I got this cool ass shit for my own self. No, they're all just out to make money. And so they're just as bad as the corporation to me. It's like there's a lot of people who have tried to figure out toxic ways to make money. Yeah, it's not just like how I've been saying, like this whole TikTok thing and all these people thinking they're making money off this third party. No, the energy I see moving and going forward like that is these ones where I see these people who are developing their skills. Like there's this one guy, this painter that I see on TikTok all the time. He's fucking like Leonardo or Da Vinci or something. Like this fucking guy is like, oh my God, this guy could be painting in fucking ceilings in cathedrals. He is phenomenal. It is just like, oh my God. There's so many phenomenal artists on TikTok showing their work. But all these different ones, these people who are upcycling clothes, just making their own patterns, making their own designs and stuff. Those people, that's where I see that energy putting into themselves and putting into their own production, putting into their own development. That energy is going to take off. This other one where you're trying to make it off of somebody else and stuff like that is just going to keep stumbling. It's going to keep breaking. It's going to keep falling apart. It's going to keep showing the holes in the structure. So there's like two different kinds of directions to go. In anything that is third party or you depend on somebody else for, it's going to be, it's all going to keep falling apart. And so anyways, that's how I see it. And but anyways, on this Christmas gifting thing and on the angel thing, because it's the same thing, and one of them is kind of sad because this one girl, so she went, all these people go into the angel tree and getting the kids' names. I did this before when my kids were younger. I was like, this year, why don't we get other people gifts? And so and that was really fun too, and my kids were really into it and stuff. We had a blast doing that. And but there's people who go and do those all the time and make sure to go give. I mean, if I was working somewhere and passing one of those trees every day and stuff, I probably would grab a name off of it, but I'm like way out here and didn't even think of it. Like I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just so anti this whole consumerism. Like I really like the idea of making things for people is this constant consumption, and we need more and we need more, filling the dumps and shit, and people being broke and stuff. So but see, some people being broke, that pushes this other side of them, this creative side of making things and thinking of other ways and stuff. That's the direction we're going. That's the one we want to be going. Not this one of sitting and feeling sorry for yourself, making videos, asking people to give you money and stuff. I saw one girl and she was like upset because her and her dog haven't been eating and she needs to get food and stuff. And her thing, I said, about go to the food bank. And she said that's where she got the eggs and the tuna, because that's what she had made was eggs and tuna. But I was thinking, see, that's the problem too with so many people. I go to the food bank and I get all the dry beans. Like my dogs don't eat all this expensive dog food. They eat dry beans. Like I cook them soups and stews and stuff with all these beans. My dogs eat so much fucking beans. And they don't have gas or anything. I mean, sometimes they'll be ripping one, but it's rare. I'm always like, oh, who's got the tootie booty? And it's very, very rare. Like they don't have issues with them. And then I walk them and stuff. Like I go out and I see them poop and stuff. Their poop looks perfectly fine. And like their poop looks really good. And which I think also the poop is more organic and it dissolves better into the ground because it's just food going back into the thing. It doesn't have all that. Well, all of our food has some kind of additives and GMOs and shit like that. But anyways, it's still better than the cardboard food that they feed them. But so many people think like that's what they got to get their dogs and stuff. But it's like, you can go to the food bank and you can get the dry beans and cook them, and the dogs love them. And so, it's just that is that push more into being that more independent or whatever. If she went to the food bank and got the tuna and the eggs, and then that's all that she had, and then she goes online asking people like for money and stuff. And this is where, you know what, we ought to, like, you could go and develop this other side of yourself, and then be feeding your dog more healthy food too, like having him eat beans. What was that? I had just seen, what was that? Was a vet? Some of them, was it the food? I just saw another one of these things. Those stuff is just going to keep being disclosure, disclosure, disclosure. All these things that we've talked about, that we think are bad and stuff, it's all coming out. Everything. And, but anyways, on this one sad thing, on this angel tree thing. So this girl, a young girl, she goes and she's going to do the thing. She sees there's a whole family of 5 kids. And so she's like, oh, I'm going to do this whole family. I'm going to go get all of the kids something. And I think they each had 3 things on there. And so she got them each 2 things. And she spent like $300 getting these kids things. And so she feels like she's doing this great thing. You know, she feels happy with herself and feels good. And that's why people do this stuff, is to feel good. And, you know, and some, I think, like I've seen a lot of videos, like some people are really gone overboard on some of those gifting things. Like their whole living room's full of this angel tree stuff, and then they're showing it. Well, if you're showing all that, then you're trying to get somebody to see, like, oh, what a good person I am. And so it depends on what your motivation is, how things are going to go. It's your intention. And how you're intending is how the universe will feed back to you. And that's where people are going to start trying to start understanding more about their intentions, because it's going to be what you're going to get back. And so so I don't know, you know, maybe this lady should have got him the 3 things or something. I don't know if she didn't get him good enough stuff. Like, I don't know. So she got him all this stuff, and she felt very happy, and she spent a lot of money, $300. And she, oh yeah, because that one lady, oh yeah, I gotta say that one lady's. So she spent the $300, and then, so she's scrolling on TikTok, and then she sees this woman who is talking about, she's got the 5 kids. She's talking about these crappy presents and all this stuff online. And the lady's like, she's talking about mine. It's like, oh my gosh, see, all this stuff is just going to keep, so this lady's seeing how ungrateful this one is, how she's ridiculing all this stuff. It's not good enough. This lady's getting stuff for free for her kids, and she's complaining about it. Like, all this stuff is just so mental. And the one lady, so this one girl, she's like, I know all the teachers are saying they don't want gifts, and that they're sick of all these gifts. And then you see these other teachers like upset because not one single student gave her a gift. And but this one, like this lady, this lady's the one everybody wants at her school. Like, so this lady, she's like, she did them a whole gift bag. This gift bag, I could, the only thing I said in the comments was, how much did you spend? Because not only did she fill these things full of so much stuff, I couldn't believe it. Like blankets, socks, I had so much stuff in it. I mean, it was a giant bag, like a fucking Costco size bag, just full of stuff for these teachers, and 2 teachers. And it had a gift card, $30 gift card for each of them in there. Which, like, fuck, dude, I didn't even spend $30 on the teachers when my kids were in school. Like, I mean, it was different times and stuff, but Jesus Christ. And then it's like, are you trying to get your kid to be the favorite one? Or are you just really this caring or whatever? Because then she has a whole stack of gift cards for all the different people who work in the office and stuff. I don't know, the librarian and stuff. The janitor. She's getting everybody a gift card for $30 just for working at the school. I was like, how the hell much do this lady spend on this? It was mental. And then the whole time she's showing is like, you know, and the way it's going, I don't even know if they're going to like this stuff. But I feel good, and I'm happy and stuff. I couldn't believe that somebody could afford to spend that much on teachers and school staff. So I don't know. Maybe her school's really small and they're real close. I don't know. I just couldn't even believe it. So but you got every range of everything going, because you have the teachers who are so happy about all these different ones, the teachers who don't want any of this stuff, the teachers who are sad because they didn't get anything, not even a card, not even a homemade card. It's like, then you think about those parents, like, they not even give a shit, like, and how much of it has to do with, like, different places. Oh, yeah, because that is a thing I saw again over the thing about time, of why they have it be like, in New York, it's a different time than over here and stuff like that, was to keep us out from connecting with each other. But also in certain places that they do it extra special amount of, to try and keep the people off of the natural rhythms of the planet and stuff. So everything is to keep us out of sync with our natural rhythms of the planet, and to keep us disconnected from each other, because when we connect with each other, we'll go into a natural rhythm. And that is what, right now we have so much interference with them trying to keep us from connecting with each other, but we're all connecting with each other. And even when you hear all these different points of view and perspectives of all these different things happening, just remember, it's all these different people's perspectives and their points of view for their own healing, their own direction and stuff. And it's not like, I mean, because when you're sitting there hearing them, you can completely align with this person, then you can align with this person, then you align with this person. It's like, yeah, they all have good points. Everybody has good points. And that's why we got to get away from judging anybody. It's like, yeah, I mean, I can totally see, like, if I was a teacher with, I mean, there was a certain point, even as a mom, where it was like, okay, you guys can stop getting me little pigs. You can stop going to the dollar store and getting me pigs for every single birthday and Christmas at this point. It's like, as soon as you say you like something, then it's like, I don't know. Your husband takes the kids to the dollar store and they all buy you pigs everywhere. I don't know. I was just getting too much of this one thing. It was like, okay, you guys don't have to do this anymore. And so I can see, the teacher's perspective on that. Like, I really don't need a million of these cups. And because they get the same things over and over and over. So anyways, I don't know. I guess part of it is also, knowing the person better and giving them something that's better for them. I like the plant idea now. Plus, fuck, you can get a plant for like $2. You could cut a part off of your own plant and plant it and give it to them. Like, there's a plant is a smart thing to do. I think a lot of them, they just want some kind of appreciation because their jobs don't appreciate them. Like, the whole system, the whole education system, all of our different parts of our system are falling apart. They're all going to break apart. And but that is this, like, the crumble of our society. It all is going to break apart, but it's the parts that are no good for us, that aren't good, and they aren't healthy, and they're going to help us to develop in better ways, even though there's so much resistance. Like this girl, like, she's going to sit there and starve begging people for money instead of figuring out how to cook dry beans, because that's one thing that you can go to the food bank and there is, like, they have eggs. They don't always have a can of tuna either. Lately especially, like, there's nothing. Like, the food is very much like, you got the dried beans. They've always got the dried beans. It used to, though, when I would go, when it had more money, then there was like all sorts of rice, beans. There was tons, every kind of bean, tons of rice. Like, the shelves were full. Now, definitely the shelves are empty, empty, empty. And I find it interesting out here is to watch this and see this happen in real time, and knowing how all of the money that was going into these electric car things, and then the guy who was trying to get the grant money for the thing, and all of a sudden they move him into a different position. So he leaves this thing, what's fallen apart, and then they move another person in, a younger person with no experience, and she's supposed to come in and take care of it. I don't even know if she's is staying at the job or something. Yeah, it's got to be so stressful. And and there's no money or food. And then this is supposed to be falling on her now to feed this community. And so anyways, and I'm sure it's happening in all of them. It's all shenanigans, and it's all going to fall apart, but it's all going to be like, I don't know, because to me, it's like pushing us to be better, to develop ourselves. Because I didn't cook out of dry beans all the time before. I opened cans of beans all the time too. But then I started being like, fucking dry beans are cheap. They're healthy and they taste way better. And so I started just getting into them and cooking them. And I mean, they're easy to cook now. But see, it's like it's a development out of necessity. And necessity comes from each own individual. Like what somebody's drive is not the same. We don't all have the same drive. So what seems necessary to somebody may not seem necessary at all to somebody else. But to me, it seemed like a really good thing to do, is to learn how to cook the dry beans and to focus on that and to feed the dogs the beans and stuff. So anyways, as the things fall apart, you can kind of go in and try and make it better. You know, like all these people like upcycling things, and there's just so much cool shit going in this one direction, while this other direction is falling apart. It's desperate. It's whiny victims, and nothing's good. Like, you know, it's just these two energies, and it's kind of like when you pull yourself out of that energy, it all comes down to these two things every time. And you having to pull yourself out of it, pull yourself free, you know. And it's that waking up in the diddly party. And now all these people are going to be getting the repercussions. Like, it's going to come back and be hitting them and hitting them and hitting them. And these people have gone around and tried to act like that they are so respectable. And because Denzel, like, and there's footage apparently of him, and I think all he has on is underwear, a gold chain, and a beanie or something. And he's acting all gangster or something. I don't know. These people, like, whatever stuff that they did, now it's like, now the piper will be paid. So it's, you know, that's the way it works. Sometimes we got to pay the piper. And it's not for, even though there's going to be a lot of public humiliation, it's not for that. It's not like the universe is trying to shame you or whatever. It is, because it doesn't look at it like wrong or right or whatever. It just looks at it as being, as, you know, as what plays out, how it works out. It doesn't look at it like, oh, it went the wrong way. It's so anyways, but people, because they carry the pain of their own things that they've done, and the reflection, and having to look at themselves and see like, ooh, this side of myself, this ooh, really yucky side of myself. I think people like hunters, why they, you know, this yucky side of themselves that they can't stand to see, is why they end up becoming addicted to something, so that they don't have to see. They can keep looking away. That, anyways, our society has just become so damaged and so sick and is so disrespectful to one another, that this all has to go down, and it has to go through this change and this evolution that is creating this completely new world that you know, I can see it laying. I can see it creating itself, while this other one is fumbling and falling apart. And to me, it's so clear. And and while it's all going on, all I can tell you is what you're supposed to be doing is working on you and learning how to love yourself, to love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because that's what it's all about. So I'll talk to you tomorrow, if the powers that may be, because I don't know, the 17th letter is saying that there's something going on now that is supposed to, and there's a lot of stuff going with the sense. So anyways, if the power goes out, I'll talk to you after it comes back on. Talk to you later. Bye.